If I want to sleep in, I sleep in. If I want to go for a walk in the morning, I go for a walk. Or I just like get to do like what I like need to do and what I want to do without feeling guilty.
Hello, welcome back to the Shine and Thrive. I'm like, what is my podcast called again? Shine and Thrive Photography Podcast. I'm your host, Sarah Monica, and this year I'm doing things a little bit differently around opening the doors to Outsourcing Made Easy. Um, I have had a influx of student success stories come in, and what I'm noticing is year after year after I reopen the doors, there's more and more students that join, and then there's more and more success stories, and it's just like brings me so much joy that what I'm on a mission on is actually working. And the mission is to literally help photographers work less hard, make more money at the same time, so they can literally cross out hustle from their life. Like that doesn't have to happen anymore. And instead, they can welcome more like slow living, better quality of life, so much more time abundance, creativity, feeling so fulfilled in their business because they're only working on tasks that excite them while everything else is getting done exactly as they want. And I am just so grateful to be, I guess, impacting the world in this way, because after all, the way that we live our lives every day is what makes up our lives. And so if we are constantly working 12 to 15-hour days, running on empty, that's gonna break at some point. It's not sustainable for your health, for relationships, for just your enjoyment of life in general. And now that I've cracked the code years and years ago on how to like improve this for myself, that's why I'm just so excited to share with everybody. So this year, I'm actually starting to share success stories a lot sooner because I'm choosing to elevate in a different way. So last year, the doors to Outsourcing Made Easy were open for 9 days, so a 9-day sign up period. But this year, I am choosing to, again, follow in my values, to choose to work less hard as well. So I have more quality time with my family, especially in the season of fall. Like it takes so much effort and work to like put together a launch and open the doors for students and make sure everything's working on the back end. It's a big, big project. And so this year is only a short 4-day sign up window. So the doors to OMI will be open October 23rd to the 26th. So mark your calendars for that. And so in the meantime, I'm going to be putting out a lot of student success stories so you can also see that what works for me also works for other photographers. And one of my key things that I love on my approach to teaching is how to teach other photographers to create outsourcing systems and workflows in their business that work for them, not just because this is what I taught, so now you must do it like this. You should do it like this. No, I'm not about the shoulds. I don't should on people. Like, I love empowering my students to do it their way so that they end up with the customized, tailored experience they want with running their business. So they get to keep half of their editing if they want to, and then let go of so many other things, or they get to let go 90% of their editing and keep the culling, and then let go of album design, slideshow creation, blog posting, Canva designs. Like that's the whole point, is for you to keep what increases your energy and let go of what decreases your energy. So I am so excited for you to hear Nicole's story. Nicole's actually was my wedding client first, and then she turned OMI student because she was just like blown away by the experience that she received from me, by both like the photos I created, the artist that I was, and on top of that, her seeing that I was supported, and on top of that, her getting a great experience because she had a fast turnaround time. And that she was like, you know what? Like if I enjoy that experience, like why wouldn't I also outsource? And you're going to hear her story of how she was able to grow her business so fast in a way that felt like fulfilling to her, and how she was able to even beat burnout before it hit her, because she chose to be proactive instead of reactive. And so, yeah, she ended up saving 660 hours this wedding season things to outsourcing, and you're going to want to hear how much money she spent on that, how much money she invested to get that time back. It's like peanuts. It's literally peanuts if you think about how much time she got back, how much more she was able to book, how she was able to actually experience slow living in this season. Oh my gosh. So yeah, I'm just going to let you listen to the episode. For now, if you want to make sure you get on the Outsourcing Made Easy wait list, because again, it's only a 4-day short sign up window, and then the doors are closed for an entire year. You want to make sure you have literally your ducks, your systems in order before you, like, just so you could be proactive for next year as well, next year's season. And you could just start getting your time back now too. Literally, you dive into the course and you can already start successfully outsourcing in just 2 weeks. So if you're already in burnout, there's a way out now. There is a way out now, and I would be honored to like help you get out now, and because life is too short. So go to sarahmonica.com/freedom to get on the wait list. If you are listening to this episode October 23rd to October 26th, 2023, sarahmonica.com/freedom actually leads you to the sign up page, and then you can sign up there, get your spot there. And I'm always on Instagram to answer any questions you have. That's at Sarah Monica Photo. That's Sarah, no H, Monica with a K, photo. And then now enjoy listening to my chat with Nicole. It's going to blow your mind. Awesome. Well, welcome, Nicole. I'm so excited to have you on the podcast and chat. And I'm so excited to hear all the details that, I was like, nope, don't tell me anything before we officially start recording.
Oh, I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Of course. And I think let's start with your journey of like, because something that I've just mentioned to Nicole right before we start recording is like, I'm just so impressed with how quickly she has grown her photography business. She was actually my wedding client first, and then I just saw her like gain traction, and she was like, this looks really, really intriguing to me and interesting. And so can you just tell us first a bit about, yeah, where your interest in photography, why it started, why you wanted to start a photography business, when, what year, what you love to shoot, and yeah, just how long that journey has been so far for you.
So I, like a lot of photographers, I feel like say I've always had a passion for photography and always had a camera, like since I can ever imagine. And so it was always like my hobby. But that I never thought of anything more of it. And I went to school for childcare. So I worked in a daycare for a while, and then I just didn't love it. I wasn't passionate about it anymore. And I also was very underpaid and just like underappreciated, I felt like. And I felt like I could do more with my life. And I just wanted to be, I don't know, like do more of what I wanted to do. So I took my passion and made it into my career. And I did that in 2021 while I was still working at the daycare. And so while I was working at the daycare on weekends, I would shoot like friends and family, and then I would post it and I would ask more people to model for me. And once I kind of got going, and then people asked to pay for me to shoot for them, and it just started from there. And 3 months after I was like, okay, I'm going to start my photography, see if I can make this a thing. 3 months later, I was able to quit my 9 to 5 job, and I was making triple what I made on my 9 to 5. And so I quit my 9 to 5 and went full time 3 months later. And yeah, now I'm full time wedding photographer.
That's incredible. Wait, okay, so 3 months after you decided to start photographing your family and friends outside of work hours?
Yes, yeah. So
Wow.
I was like, I want to start. I want to try to do photography. Let's see how it goes. I bought a camera. 3 months later, I quit my job and started full time.
That's amazing. Tell everybody what you said, what you have written on your website about what you told your dad.
Oh, so I told my dad, like, Dad, I'm gonna quit my job. I think it was like by Christmas, I told him, and he was like, No, what? Like, no, you're
And
not.
this
Like,
was April or something,
yeah,
right?
this was like in April. And so I told him that, and he didn't believe me. I don't think anybody really believed me that I was going to do it. And then it was September that I quit my job. And I was like, Dad, I quit my job before I told you to. And it was like really fun to tell him that because I was just like really proud of myself. And I did something that I told myself I was going to do. So it was really cool.
That's incredible. And do you find that like it was because of your like pure excitement to just shoot and create that just kind of snowballed that effect? Because yes, you did a lot of work upfront for free, technically, but really it wasn't for free because it was just an energy investment, really. And you exploring, creating, getting better at your art. So would you say that it was like you got to make more money and then also quit your job, but like in a way that felt fun and fulfilling? And maybe of course there was a lot of work, of course, but like in general, did it like energize you more in a way?
Yeah. Like I felt so like powerful, maybe. I don't know if that's
Yeah.
the right word, but like every time I would get a message or like a DM of like, we want to book you, it just felt like I was like growing this thing that was going to be mine. And I was just really excited to like have something that was my own and to be able to create things that were my own. Cause in the daycare, I wasn't able to do that. Like I would try to get creative and either the boss would tell me, no, you can't do that. You're not allowed. Like, we're not allowed to have like this in our room. And I was just like bummed because I couldn't do what I wanted to do. And so it
Yeah.
was really exciting to finally be able to like create and then start making money from that. And yeah.
That's incredible. Creative freedom, right?
Yeah, for
Feels
sure.
so good. And yeah, I'm so impressed. It's so weird. I'm a very intuitive person. And when I saw, because I photographed you guys, was it August 2021? Your intimate wedding. 2020, 2020, yeah. 2020 and 2021 blur for me with my wedding couples for some reason. Makes a lot of sense because we were
Yeah.
just at a different time. But for some reason those get blurred. But um I'm trying to remember. Oh yeah, and you're like, "Oh yeah, I'm like getting into photography." And the energy that you had in your even just Instagram, like I do believe everything we do has like an energetic footprint. Um it just did that's what it was. It was this like I'm sure of myself. I'm going after what I want. Nothing's going to stop me and I'm having fun while I'm doing it. And so I'm just like so happy for you. So happy for you. And actually, so speaking of that, with how you were a wedding client first, I actually wanted to touch base on that topic of, okay, so many of you listening, if you're a photographer that's been a photographer for maybe, let's say, 2 years plus or 3 years plus, maybe you are at the point of you've considered outsourcing before, but there's like some fears that pop up. And one of them could be, and this is something that I experienced. I was like, oh, if I get help in my business, if I'm not doing everything myself, I'm actually not seen as an artist. And also, that means like they're not getting the service directly from me and they'll value the service like they'll value me less or something like that, or they'll value the photos less. Like I had these like thoughts that popped up and they would stop me from even considering outsourcing. This was like maybe 8 years ago. um so I would love to hear from your perspective, with at that point when you two did book me, I was speaking publicly that I outsource and I have an editor and I get help with this and that. And from your perspective, what was that experience like? Did any thoughts come to like what thoughts came to mind, if any, when you were, researching your photographer and then you decided to book me, knowing that I did get support?
Yeah, I think I just thought like you were super established and professional, that like to have a team behind you means that you are really established. I feel like you have to be able to pay them, you have to be able to
Mm,
like teach them what you do. And I just feel like you wouldn't have that if you were a newer photographer or not as established. And so, and it also made me feel like you have your stuff together.
my shit together. Yeah.
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 And like you you're like, I'm gonna get my photos in a good amount of time and you're gonna be energized for my day because you didn't spend last night editing a wedding. So I think it just made us feel like more confident in our decision.
No, that's awesome. That's so good to hear. And I think it's going to be so reassuring for many other people. And how did you feel like after the process? Like, so I photograph your day, and then afterwards, when you receive your photos, like, was it a quick turnaround for you? Were you like surprised? Did you feel well taken care of?
Yeah, no, it was definitely a quick turnaround, and that was really exciting. So I was really happy for that because I've heard of people having to wait months and months, and I didn't have to do that. I think it was like 3 or 4 weeks. We got all of our wedding photos back. So yeah, that was like a really cool experience.
Yeah, amazing. And that's like just one of the benefits of outsourcing is like you actually have the capacity to uplevel your client experience and like blow them away instead of I see this, I don't know if you'd see this, Nicole, a lot. And I'm saying this without judgment because we all are just doing our best and we do what we can with what we've learned so far in our lives. But I see so much of oh my gosh, like I'm so behind in my life, in my business. Guys, what should I do? This gallery is like due tomorrow and I haven't even started culling like a wedding, let's say, and it's been like 2 months. And everyone's like, oh, just tell them, life got in the way, they'll understand. And it's like I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's fair to not take responsibility in that way and not as a business owner be proactive and organized to make sure we're delivering an exceptional experience for people.
And
Like,
yeah, and I think that like what you just said is such a frustrating response to receive because first of all, like your personal problems are not their problems. Like
yeah,
they should not have to hear that you're going through something. Like no, like I've had people say that to me before in business scenarios and it just frustrates the crap out of me because I don't care like I do care, but like also like that's not I don't know, it's like a business. It's not like I'm your friend and yeah, you should be, yeah, you know.
I totally get it. It's like it's an easy way out if it happens consistently and it's just because we haven't been proactive enough. I totally understand life actually does happen. There are actual scenarios where it's like, I gave birth 3 months early, like without like, okay, your gallery is gonna probably it's gonna take a while. But guess what? If you outsource and you have those systems in place, if that does happen, you can still deliver the gallery on time and without any stress to you or them. And by the way, for those of you that are listening to this, because I know definitely there are some of you listening to this being like, oh my God, that's me. I've done that. Don't like even entertain guilt, feeling guilty because it's not useful to you or to them or to anyone. Again, you're just doing your best. I personally just like calling shit out sometimes just to like wake people up so you can then move forward and make decisions that are of better use for your business and for your future clients. This is just like a learning moment. So like guilt won't do anything. It's not going to like change anything that you've done or anything like that, but it can in this moment wake you up and be like, okay, you know what? Maybe for next year, I am going to really get my systems in place and make sure that people do feel well taken care of by me. Because that's where the referrals come in. And on top of that, that's where you get even more energized and excited by your business. If you're like, I am doing everything that I can to like take care of these humans and their experience, it's just so much more fulfilling rather than feeling stressed and behind constantly. So, um, don't feel guilty about that. And oh, something I did want to share about guilt because I recently learned this. It's how it's not actually a useful emotion for us to feel. This is a little off topic, but I feel like I have to share because I really don't want photographers feeling guilty about something like this. Um, Imagine like someone is driving down a road and they're feeling guilty in their minds of something that they've done. They're driving, they're like so preoccupied in their minds, right? And then out of nowhere, an animal crosses. And because they're so preoccupied in their mind, they actually don't effectively move the car away and they hit the animal, for example. And so that's an example of how guilt being preoccupied by guilt doesn't do anyone any good because wouldn't you rather that person be like, you know what, I'm not going to feel guilty. I'm just going to have learned from that, move on, And then while they're driving down the road, they could just be present and not preoccupied. And then they see the animal cross and they're like, oh, I see it crossing. They're super present and they miss it and then they save the animal. It's like the same thing happens here. Instead of you now moving forward in your day being like, I feel so bad. I feel so bad. I don't have my shit together. It's like, no, like then move forward, doing your best, being present in your business, making new decisions, paying attention to the decisions you're making, and then you're on your way up and forward. And only like a better experience for you or your couples can come from that. Anyway, side note, I'm like learning all this cool stuff recently, and I had to like the topic came up and I had to share. Okay, so let's celebrate you and your journey. I cannot wait to hear everything. So maybe share with everybody. So when did you join? When did you sign up for Outsourcing Made Easy? And then since then, what have you, what was your, okay, what have you outsourced or learned how to outsource since then?
Yeah, so it was last fall. I purchased your course and started taking it, and I wasn't even fully booked for 2022 yet, and I wasn't sure how many weddings I was going to book and if I even was going to need outsourcing, but I wanted to be proactive and because I get overwhelmed really easily, and I wanted to make sure I had like a system in place so that I didn't burn out in 2022. And I'm really glad I did because I definitely like was fully booked, and I told myself like I need to get my editor and color hired now because if I don't, like I'm not going to have a fun summer. So it was in February when I was like I need to hire somebody. I thought it was going to take a lot longer than what it did, and so I put out an ad for a color first. Yeah, it was a color
Mhm.
first, and it ended up being
And
somebody.
just to be just for so people are clear, it's not like an advertisement. It's like just a job posting.
Yeah, so it's a job
Not yeah.
posting, and
Yeah.
I only posted it on my Instagram. So because I wanted to try Instagram first, so I didn't have to like pay for Indeed. I tried
Hmm.
Indeed, and then they said that I needed to pay to like get it more seen, and I just didn't want to do that. So I
Hmm.
tried Instagram. It's like making an like like I didn't pay for an ad. It was just like a story.
Okay,
Like
got yeah, yeah.
yeah, and then one of my like past clients that I photographed ended up being interested in the position, which was so cool because I love that I knew the person and like had that connection already. And so, yeah, I went through the process that you teach in the hiring, the color, and we had an interview. We did all of that. And I hired her and we did the training. I did all the videos with her. And yeah, she's been really, really great for the whole season. And then I started after that to find my editor, and and back to my color, I found her like really fast. Like I think she responded in like a day, and then I hired her. So it was super fast. And then my editor was the same thing. I got on Upwork, the
Hmm.
app, and put my it was free job posting on there, and I got like within a few hours there was like 30 people who applied, which was like, oh my gosh, that's so many like to choose from. But with like the way you teach in your outsourcing course how to go through your applicants and pick the right one. And
Efficiently.
yeah, was really helpful because if I didn't have that information, like I would have been like, oh my gosh, like overwhelmed. So I
Yeah.
was able to pick one so fast, and it came down to like two people that I was like choosing between. And then I just like felt kind of in my gut, like trusted, like I feel like I'm thinking about this one more and I just want to choose her. So yeah, chose her. It was like the next day I hired her, sent her like test edit just to see
Hmm.
like how she would do, and like sent it back, and it was so amazing. Like I wanted to cry. I was like, oh my
Oh,
God, like
I
she
remember you posting that. You're like, I just want to cry. It's
yeah,
like,
like I'm like, how did she do that? Like so like it's never gonna be perfect, but like really well, like better than I would
mm-hmm.
have thought. And yeah, so since then I've been using them. I started using them like consistently in May
Mm-hmm.
and up until now. And yeah, it's been going really good.
That's incredible. Okay. And I also want to pause here. So it's kind of like we're at like, okay, now we know what you're outsourcing, your journey, how you found some people. But then how was, okay, first of all, okay, another thing, I don't want to skip by this because there's a theme that I'm noticing with you and your character. And you think ahead. You're instead of you having like short-term thinking, you're like 5 steps ahead and thinking, okay, what will like 5 months later Nicole need? What will 5 months later Nicole's business need for me to continue to be successful without the overwhelm? And that is so impressive, like because it's so rare for me to see someone starting out to think that way. Most photographers actually hit burnout first and then they're like, oh shit, like I need a different way, a different system. So it's so impressive, like kudos to you. Because I think that is another way how you are growing fast. It's like you've done the growing fast up until October 2022, and then now with you being proactive ahead of time with before you even thought you needed outsourcing, you're like, but most likely next year I might if I continued down this path. You thought about that and then that's exactly where you are now. So that's incredible. Um okay, and before you signed up for Omi last year in 2022, how was your season then? How did you feel like having to do everything yourself now, looking back in comparison?
Yeah. So my season before I did outsourcing, I had a lot less weddings, maybe like more than like
Mhm.
half the amount of weddings. So but I was still like working a lot. Like I was definitely like at my max, and I think I was only doing like 12 of my own weddings, and I just felt like this is my max. Like I remember just like working into the evenings, editing and all that. And so yeah, so looking for, sorry, what was it? This,
So you're telling me how you felt last year before outsourcing. So you felt you had like half the amount of bookings you have now, and you already felt like you were max.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I knew
Oh,
like I
it's
wanted,
so
sorry.
no, no, it's okay. Go ahead. There was a lag.
Yeah, there was. But yeah, like I knew like I wanted to book more weddings because I wanted to make more money, and I knew that I probably could in the future. And so I wanted to make sure that I got my outsourcing in place because that season I already was feeling like, whoa, this is a lot.
Mm.
I don't want to feel double this. Like I couldn't even imagine feeling more than this.
Yeah, awesome. So instead of you choosing to cap your bookings for the following year, you chose to make a decision that would help you get your time, buy your time back so you can make more money. Pretty much. Amazing. I can so relate to where you were because the year that I hit like 15 weddings a year in my business, I was like, oh my God, this is a lot. What the hell? I thought I would be like free if I had my own business, but I'm just like always chained to my computer. So I think it's like that like number. So I can totally relate to where you also kind of felt that too. Okay, so now that's where you were last year and then where you are this year, double the amount of bookings, and now you're getting outsourcing support. So let's get to sharing some numbers with people so we can really like paint a more like vivid picture with some data. So first, and I asked Nicole, like, do you have any numbers you can share? Because it always helps so much to like really paint the picture. And yeah, she did some calculations, so I'm so excited to hear them too. So yeah, so first, maybe let us know. Let's go with how many hours you spent on weddings without outsourcing first.
Okay. So without outsourcing for this past season, for all my weddings, I didn't do sessions. I just kept it to weddings to like
Yeah.
people. So I had 22 weddings, and I calculated that, and I would have ended up spending 1,100 hours doing everything. Yeah, on 22 weddings.
Oh my God. And this is 20, we're talking about 2023.
Yeah, this year. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Okay. 1,100 hours total. Okay, let's do some extra math here because I'm gonna divide that up. So that's May to August?
May, no, that would have been May to like the end of the season. So May to October.
October. Okay, perfect. So May, June, July, August, September, October, 6 months. Yes, I still count on my fingers. So let's say 1100 hours, 1100 divided by 6 months. That's 183 hours a month. And then divided by four, that's 45 hours a week. And is that including shooting or not? This is outside of shooting.
It is including shooting, yeah.
Including shooting. Okay.
Everything that I would have spent time on. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a full-time job, basically.
Yeah.
Like,
And is it like, are you including editing, culling, emailing,
yes.
slideshow creation? What about marketing?
No, not marketing is not in there. Yeah.
Hmm. That is very interesting correlation always,
Yeah.
which we can get into. But okay, perfect. Okay. And then on top of that, we're not, by the way, we're not even talking about sessions because she didn't include
Yeah.
sessions. And
Yes.
sessions, you all know, is like per session, it could be up to, it depends how long the session is and how far away, but it could be anywhere of like a 3 hour to 7 hour commitment, 8 hour commitment because of the driving, the packing, the shooting, the post. Like, so that is a lot more work on top of that as well. So, perfect. Okay. So we have that number. And then how many hours do you spend on weddings now with outsourcing?
So after calculation, this season I would have spent 440 hours on weddings.
Wait, 440, 440 hours
Yeah.
on weddings
Yeah.
with outsourcing just culling and editing. My God, that is
Isn't that
incredible.
crazy? I know. I was like, did I do the math right? Because I was like, that's insane, like the difference. But yeah, I did it right.
Okay, 440 divided by 6 months, her main season, that's 73 hours a month. And then I'm going to divide it into weekly. So divided by four, that's 18 hours a week, including shooting time, guys. You know, a wedding day can go 10, 11 hours, right? Like,
Yeah.
okay, this is so good. Okay, and then you calculated the difference, so let us know the difference just for fun
So I
between how many hours you would spend without outsourcing, the difference between outsourcing and not outsourcing.
so the difference in what I saved myself working was 660 hours this year.
Oh my God. Okay. Amazing. I'm so freaking proud of you. I am like, my voice is shaking, like my body's vibrating. I'm just like so happy. Okay, there's gonna be two things that I want to hear about next, which is like just like what you now are able to do, like your quality of life and stuff like that. But first, I know people are wondering, like, okay, but how much are you spending? How much money is it costing you? So she calculated that as well, except you calculated how much you spent on culling and editing from May to August. So she's not guessing what she's going to be spending on future weddings. She's done May till August. So
Yeah.
what's that number?
So altogether, so for my color, I spent 1,700 and my editor just over 1,000. So together it was 2,835. And
Amazing.
so
Okay.
you book a wedding and that's like covered.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And literally, if you said last year you had 12 weddings and that was your capacity, this year you got to take 22 and make so much more money while only investing the amount so far of one wedding to get all of that time back, to get so many more bookings back to that's incredible.
yeah,
And okay, so some people might be wondering for sure. They're like, wait, how is the editing that cheap?
yeah.
Like $1,000 for like 4 months worth of weddings. Like, so how many weddings ish is that from that you had so far from May to August?
um, like -6 probably. So like
Math. 16.
yeah.
16. Yeah, okay. I calculated just on my fingers right now. I was like, okay, so for 16 weddings,
Yeah.
$1,000, and you got like so many freaking hours back for that.
Actually, that would also include the sessions I did. That
Oh,
total includes the sessions.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, plus sessions. And that would be like a get what would be your guesstimation on how many sessions? Like it doesn't have to be accurate
I
because
did almost one a week.
okay. So 4 times 4.
Like,
16.
yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God, guys, we use calculators now. We don't use our brains for math. Like 4 times 4. I couldn't do that. Wait, it's 16. Okay, think. Okay, so wow, $1,000 for 16 weddings and 16 sessions to get support with editing for like countless, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of your hours back. So yeah, so what is the secret?
The secret to what?
Making it so affordable.
Oh, okay. So going on Upwork and finding somebody in a different country, basically. So my editor is from the Philippines. And so she charges like the conversion rate, it's different.
Mm-hmm.
She charges it's 15 cents an image.
Mm-hmm.
And then if she does like brushwork or anything, it's 20 cents for those images. And then if she does Photoshop for me, like removing an object or something, it's I think 25 cents an image.
Mm-hmm.
So when I get a wedding back, it's between like 80 to $100 that I'm paying just for one wedding. And a session is like $20 to 30. So yeah,
Amazing.
that's how.
Yeah. And this is something that I love to tell my students about as an option, as an ethical option, because there's like a stigma around, oh, getting help overseas. You think of maybe old school Nike, like sweatshops, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, no, no. That's like just because someone, you know, treated like someone created an environment which was treating their workers poorly doesn't mean that automatically everybody that works overseas is treated poorly. It's like that's just a thing we just need to wipe away from our minds because that is not true. First of all, these people have their own businesses, they are freelancers, they want this work. They choose to say yes or no to opportunities, just like we choose to say yes or no to if someone wants to book a session with us for like $200 versus 800, we get to decide how much we charge for that or say yes to. So they get to do that. And plus, like Nicole said, it's the conversion of the dollar that's in our favor. So, for example, if they're charging, let's say, 15 cents an image for like regular editing with like to do with the sliders like temperature, contrast, exposure, cropping, that kind of stuff. It would be maybe around 50 cents an image here, which would be like industry standard in North America. So all we're doing is we're giving someone else an opportunity in a different country. We're benefiting from the conversion on the dollar. Everyone's happy. And the thing is like you have options as someone who runs their own business. You get to choose what works for you in different chapters of your life. So like maybe as Nicole is like in year what 3 of your business or 2.5. Yeah. So it's like that option was the better option for her to still be able to make the amount of money she needs maybe in this chapter of her life and like guilt free because this is like such a win-win option for the person in the Philippines, for her. And then other people can choose in different ways. Like for example, other years I was outsourcing with Image Salon in Canada, and this past year I decided to go a different direction because of the war in Ukraine. And I was like, you know what? There's literally photographers there that um just all their weddings are canceled. They are trying to figure out how to make an income. Imagine like the pandemic, but they're just in it and maybe even worse and deeper. And I was like, you know what? I can afford it. I'm going to just switch where I put my dollars and I'm going to choose to support someone from Ukraine. And my editor currently is in the Ukraine and doing an amazing job. And so this is just to paint the picture of all the options that are out there for you and ethically and how you can actually impact someone's life in a positive way through giving them this work while they support you at the same time. It's like the most incredible energy exchange. Would you agree?
And I feel that way too with my editor, like being from the Philippines. Like I love that my money is like going to someone like overseas. Like I think that's so cool. And she even told me she said like this is a miracle that I'm getting this work from you, and like she's
Oh,
up for a full frame camera because she's a photographer too. So it's just really cool to like know where that like money's going and that's like helping somebody. And also like back to like what you were saying about like your first thoughts of like hiring someone from the Philippines is like the sweatshops and like well,
hmm.
you don't really know, but like me and my editor like follow each other on Instagram, and it's so cool to like see like she's just like a normal girl, and like she's really cool. She's into photography and like really like relatable, and so it's not like what you would maybe think when you first think of hiring someone overseas.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing that, your experience and clearing that up. And yeah, even her words. That's like it just feels so fulfilling in another way. Like, you know how we feel fulfilled in our businesses to give these memories and photographs to our clients. It's like, oh, another layer of fulfillment, you know? Um, that's incredible. And okay, so now that we know your investment for, by the way, she Nicole paid to $2,700 to get 660 hours of her life back.
Totally worth
660 hours, like $2,700 for that many hours. Like you can book so many more shoots and weddings. You can just spend more time with your family. You could spend time building your business further, marketing. So maybe now expand on that, Nicole. Like tell us what has opened up for you now? What opportunities, what spaciousness, what do you love doing with that additional time now?
Yeah. So I've been spending a lot of time on myself, honestly, like just like resting and self-care and doing what I want to do. And also just like taking the days slowly. Like if I want to sleep in, I sleep in. If I want to go for a walk in the morning, I go for a walk, and I make a good breakfast, and I spend a couple hours working, and then I go like shopping, or I just like get to do like what I like need to do and what I want to do without feeling guilty like, oh, but I have so much editing to do. And then
Mhm.
I get to spend all of my evenings with my husband, and like I haven't spent an evening editing. Like I'm always done by at least 6 p.m. Like I never this season I've never worked like into the night, which is really awesome. So yeah, just spending time with family and friends and on myself really has been really great to have.
I love that you said that. It just sounds so like soul filling, all
Yeah.
those things. And I know there's so many photographers that crave that. And could you imagine like not having that? Because like, could you imagine not being able to appreciate the summer as much and being stuck inside editing? Like, I can't imagine that anymore. And is there anything that like Josh, her husband, has like said or remarked or noticed like a difference between like last year and this year?
Um, Actually, my parents
Yeah.
have something for sure. Like my mom is like, I remember like you get home from a wedding and the next day you just be on your computer all day long, and like now you're not. And that's like really cool to see that she's noticed that, because I'm like, yeah, you're right. Because you kind of forget that a little bit sometimes.
Yeah.
And so you're like, yeah, like you're like, yeah, I'm actually like just chilling today, and that's really awesome.
Yeah. It's funny how like we can easily forget that. Like sometimes like the days can feel like super like that saying the days are long but the years are short. But then on top of that, how we also like totally forget how we used to feel and be like even just 2 years ago, right? It's like we could have felt so like I don't think you personally you'd never hit a point of burnout, did you?
No, not really. No.
No. Okay, yeah. But like even me, like when I hit a point of burnout when I was doing everything myself, it's hard to even just remember what that feels like because I've just shifted it and changed over the last 8 years. I'm like, nope, I don't do that anymore. Like, so yeah. And I'm trying to think, is there anything okay, so if you were to hear about a photographer that's like, okay, like I think I'm ready to start outsourcing, but I'm at the position where you were, Nicole, like I'm getting bookings in, I'm making money, but like I don't know what my bookings are going to be like next year. Um, what would you say to them to really kind of uplift them and like take them through that like that door that like that visual door of like if you get to the other side of the door, this is what's waiting for you. Like what would you say to someone who's on the fence about starting to outsource?
I feel like I have said this to people because I've had people be like, "Oh, I want to take the course," and then they just don't. And I would just say, like, do it. Like, don't wait. Like, literally, don't wait until you're like
Mm,
dying because why do you want to do that to yourself? Like, be prepared for what you know is going to happen. Like if you're saying this, you know that you're about to like you're going to hit burnout eventually, and so just do it and like just trust yourself and that you'll have the time to like book more, and like you really will. Like outsourcing will help you. Like it's hard to like believe that, but it will.
yeah.
Yeah, like I don't know, is that good enough?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, whatever comes to mind because like we all have our different perspectives of how to like how we like think our way through to get to a next level. Like but whenever I like am making the decision to like purchase a course or like learn something new, I always get that like a little bit of like fear and adrenaline in me. I'm like, okay, I'm doing this, and then I click like sign up now, and it's processing. I'm like, okay, I'm doing this, and it's like it's that like fear, but it's like excitement at the same time. And if you're already thinking about it being like, I know I want to do it, don't let fear stop you just because you're like, I don't know what's ahead or how to do it. Like that's my job. My job is to take care of like show you the how and support you there. Um, but like, yeah, would you say that you made a decision out of like love for yourself rather than fear and it got you to where you are now?
Probably. I feel like it was both. Like I feel like I was like, oh, I'm afraid of being tired and burnt out
Mm,
this time. But then like I guess like that's kind of like I also love myself enough like not to make myself tired and burnt out. So I feel like it was
yeah.
both. And like honestly, when I did buy your course, I was like really scared because I it's a lot of money. And at first I remember thinking like, is this a waste of money? Like, did I just waste money? Like, am I gonna use this? Am I gonna do it? Is it gonna help? And like those were all like lies and doubt. And yeah, it really did help for sure.
Yeah, it's literally what almost it's 11 months later and this is where you are. And I love that you are a photographer that never experienced burnout. Like that makes me so happy.
Feel like that's kind of like rare, maybe. Like when
It
I bought
is.
it, and that's why I think when I bought it, I was like, was that stupid? Because like I'm not even like burnt out yet. Like, what? Why did I do that? But I feel like, yeah, it was a good decision.
Yeah, it was so proactive and you just like the mantra that comes to me is my future self will thank me.
Yeah,
Um,
it
yeah.
is for sure. When I see the difference between the hours that I would have spent, I'm like, wow, like that would have been the worst summer of my life. So
Yeah.
like
Do you feel like your perspective on how you value your time now has changed?
yes. Yeah. Like I don't know.
Like, can you like in a way it's like once you've experienced this, could you ever go back like next year be like, you know what? Next year I'm just gonna do everything myself and I'm gonna pay myself $2,700 for those 660
Yeah,
hours.
that sounds so stupid. Like I would what it actually makes me want to do is outsource more because I'm like, oh my gosh, I could save more hours. Like I could
Yeah.
cut that number down from 440 hours spent to less, like and have more time. Like, yeah, let's do that.
Yeah. It becomes a fun game, right? Because as soon as you start, like for me personally, as soon as I start noticing that my energy on a specific task is like getting like, ugh, this is so boring, or like, I don't want to be doing this. I'm like, oh, it's time to let that go. It's time.
I definitely feel that about like some things right now. So I think like once the season ends, I'll be
Yeah.
like, ready to outsource more, like
What's
making
an example that comes to mind?
making slideshows for
Hmm.
your weddings. Like I just find that like time consuming, and even like uploading to my weddings, like I don't know, uploading the galleries and yeah, and making the slideshow is like I don't know. I just feel like
Yeah.
feel like that's so easy for someone else to do.
Yeah, totally. And how long would you estimate that a slideshow takes you?
I feel like sometimes it takes me like up to an hour because I'm really picky about like the music that
Yeah.
I like choose. And I like want it to sound good with the emotion. And like the slideshow ends up being like 20 minutes sometimes. So I have to like watch it and make
Yeah, yeah.
like all in order and there's no like weird moments. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's like a long time where I feel like someone could easily do that. Like it's not hard.
exactly. Because you now know how to train them. You're like, oh yeah, this is teachable because I know how to do it.
And
So,
like
and
thinking about it, like 22 weddings, like I spent 22 hours.
exactly. 22 hours. That's it. You can tack on that 22 hours saved next year, or even if you have 30 next year, if you want 30. It's like that's 30 hours saved. That's almost a full work week in the summer.
Yeah.
It's just so fun.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, is there anything else that you feel like you want to share that you want to um like yeah, say from your heart or the intention that we set, which was just to like share your story so others can see what's possible, or do you feel complete?
I would say just buy the course if you're thinking about it. Just do it. Like you will not regret it and you'll get like time back that is so like precious. Like and it's just like worth it. You can't get that time back, so just do it.
I love it. I love it. You're so decisive. It's
Yeah,
very,
just do it.
yeah. Um, Amazing. Okay, so I also want to mention because so Nicole, as you guys have heard, has just like built her business so quickly to go full time. So did you want to share the resource that you have with everybody, and also if anyone is resonating with you and your story and is also starting out or maybe just 10 steps behind, do you want to share that you're offering mentoring calls as well?
Yeah, so I'm really passionate about like just if you're not happy in your job to like quit and do photography if that's like what you're passionate about and because that was me and I was able to do it really quickly and I feel like I have like knowledge to like educate others on how to do it as well and like I feel like I can just like encourage you to do it. And so I have a free guide on my website of how to go full time quickly. And I'm also offering like mentorship calls, like just to chat if you have questions or you just want to like know more about how to go full time, or if you like want someone with you along the journey of how to go full time. Like I would love to like offer you support in that way.
That's amazing. And where can everybody find that? So, what's your website and what's your Instagram?
Yeah, so it's really simple. It's just Nicole Johnson photo, my Instagram and my website.
Awesome. Nicole is Nicole, and then Johnson, John Johnson.
Yeah, it's like a really
Good.
easy name.
Yeah, very easy. Yeah.
It's spelled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing. I am so proud of you, so happy. I cannot wait to like see even how many more hours you save next year and all of that. And yeah, thank you so much. I know for sure that your story definitely impacted someone. I can feel it. They're like, okay, if she can do it or she's that, I can do it. And that's a lot. Yeah.
I hope
So,
so. I hope someone feels like that. That
yeah.
even if they have a little push to do it from this, like listen to that push and just do it.
If that's you, let Nicole know because I know she'll appreciate a message like that. And, because we all just want to be helpful throughout our lives. So if you're like, hey, Nicole, oh my God, your story helped me, just let her know. Nicole Johnson photo on Instagram. All right. Thank you so much, Nicole.
Sarah.
I hope you enjoyed my chat with Nicole. Oh my gosh, I was just so excited to share this episode with you all because saving 660 hours this season while investing $2,700 is just incredible. I'm so proud of her, of the reality that she was able to create for herself. And I see that for you too. So you're probably wondering, okay, what's next? How do I even get started on this outsourcing journey? So as I mentioned in the beginning of this episode, Outsourcing Made Easy is open for only 4 short days this year, October 23rd to October 26th. In the meantime, though, I do have another special resource for you. And this is a masterclass that I host live once every single year, and it will give you so much more information. It's a beautiful visual example of exactly me sharing my financials of like how much money I make, how much I spend on outsourcing, how much time it saves me. I have graphs, I have so much visual, so many visual things to show you that I can't do it in podcast form, right? In the, like just like speaking into the microphone. And I'm just so excited to share all of this with you. And it's called The 4 Secrets to Having More Time and Financial Freedom while avoiding burnout as a photographer. And you can save your seat. There's only a limited amount of seats available of how many people I can host in one room. So make sure to grab yours ASAP. You can go to sarahmonica.com/masterclass, grab your seat. There's 3 different times and dates available. But if you're not available for any of them to show up live, make sure to sign up anyway, because I will make sure to send you the replay. And don't worry, you're not taking anyone else's seat, because I only have a certain spots available for like a room for people to show up live, but like literally so many of you can sign up and then watch the replay and you'll get the replay. So don't worry, you're not stealing anyone's seat if you can't make it live. Pick a date, pick a random date and time. Probably be best to pick the first one that you see, so that you have more time to watch the replay, because it's only going to be available for a limited amount of time. And yeah, you're going to learn so much in this masterclass with like all of the examples that I have for you. And at the very end, just to be super transparent, I'm going to walk you through exactly what's included in Outsourcing Made Easy, what kind of workflows you're going to get from me. I'm going to walk you through transformations my students experienced. And just here's what's it called? A little love note from someone who did experience my past masterclass, Tracy and Tom. They wrote, "When you were explaining the myths about outsourcing and changing our mindset from short-term to long-term thinking, I felt like you were reading my mind. I always felt like no one can do it as well as I can, but it was so nice seeing real-life examples and actual numbers to prove how powerful outsourcing really is." And then Maeve also says, "Sarah is so open and transparent about her finances and time-saving methods. It's fantastic to see how excited she is to help others get their precious time back, and this free masterclass is a great place to begin." And another one that I want to share, Kelsey, she said, "Seeing your hours worked in a week and the time you have for your family gave me all the feels. It was the answer I have been looking for. I knew as soon as I saw that it's exactly what I needed to have the best of both worlds. Thanks so much for helping me get my Sunday breakfast and walks back with my family." And so if you're still like, I don't know, is this masterclass like good for me? So this masterclass is a must attend if you're motivated to leave behind the never-ending to-do list of uninspiring tasks so that you can spend more time being creative. It's also a must attend if you want to have more time to focus on yourself and loved ones, while at the same time running a successful portrait and or wedding photography business. So just because I'm a wedding photographer doesn't mean what I teach doesn't apply to portrait and like branding photographers or commercial photographers too. It applies to everybody. And also, if you're excited to finally find out how to run your business instead of it running you with more ease and less stress, this masterclass is for you. So yeah, make sure to grab your seat, sarahmonica.com/masterclass. And I also have a very special bonus. I have 2 bonuses for those that show up live. So there's a show up live bonus, which I'm really excited to share. It's going to be a resource that's not available anywhere else except for those that show up live. And then I have another special bonus that you can get, which is valued at $500. And you're going to have to show up for the masterclass to see how you can get that. So yeah, I'm so excited for you to learn even more, for me to connect with you, for you to also connect with a community of other photographers that are in the same place that you are, like looking for that answer. So yeah, click the link in the show notes, go to sarahmonica.com/masterclass, save your seat before it's too late. Make sure to do it right now. Bye. Yay! Thank you so much for hanging out with me and tuning into this episode. If you got value out of it, please feel free to message me on Instagram at Sarah Monica Photo. That's Sarah no H, Monica with a K, photo, to let me know. I get so freaking energized hearing from others that what I've said has had a positive impact on their lives. Also, make sure to hit subscribe to the Shine and Thrive podcast to never miss an episode. I'm so grateful for you, and I'm sending you all the productive vibes your way so you have the best week ever.